Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, and good evening to all guests, delegates, and base members. Today we join together for base lecture series number 39. I welcome you all in this session. But before starting this session, let me tell something about base. Base, Bengali Academia for Social Empowerment, is a developmental organization registered as a trust by a collective of academicians, scholars, professionals, and other like-minded people working for community and social development. In current socio-political scenario, BASE is dedicated in different activities like information and resource sharing, gathering data and preparing database, organizing seminar conferences, working on publication of journal and magazine, encouraging young generation in education by educational camps and career guidance program, providing admission helpline, and so on. During pandemic time and Amphan crisis, BASE helped by opening and serving by more than 25 community kitchens, distributing food and relief materials to poor and affected people, distributing study kits to children, etc., especially in North and South 24 Parganas. Since more than 2 months, BASE has been organizing online lecture series on different topics and aspects for the purpose of disseminating and raising knowledge and awareness for social empowerment. Till now, total 38 lectures has been conducted. Today we have online lecture number 39. Topic is Higher Education, Research and Publication and Overview. Our esteemed speaker is Dr. MD Ataul Islam from University of Manchester, UK. Our today's session will be chaired by Professor Dr. C.M. Hussain from Makaut, West Bengal. So I request one of our base member, Mr. Anwar Hussain, Assistant Professor of English, Nagar College, Murshidabad, to introduce our respected chair and speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Nargis Madam. Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. On behalf of Bengal Academia for Social Empowerment, I welcome you all to BASE online lecture series, lecture number 39. We are extremely pleased to have among us the esteemed speaker of this evening, Dr. Muhammad Ataul Islam, Assistant Professor at the Bharati Vidyapith Deemed University, Pune. Dr. Islam started his career with BSc in Chemistry from Aligarh Muslim University and MSc in Bioinformatics from Sikkim Manipal University. Then he completed MTech in Bioinformatics from West Bengal University of Technology and PhD from the University of Calcutta. He had been also a postdoctoral fellow at the multi-campus Public Research University of Pretoria, South Africa. Dr. Islam is currently a Newton International Fellow at the University of Manchester, United Kingdom, doing his postdoctoral research on computational chemistry. This is a very prestigious position that he holds at present, as this fellowship is made available by the Royal Society, British Academy, and Academy of Medical Sciences, and only the very best postdoctoral researchers from all over the world are selected as Newton International Fellows. Dr. Islam, a man of great learning and wide research experience, is going to provide us with an overview on higher education, research and publication. A heartfelt welcome to Dr. Islam. We are also greatly privileged to have among us Dr. Chaudhry Mubassar Hussain as the chairperson of this session. Dr. Hussain is currently a professor and HOD of the Department of Pharmaceutical Technology at Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, West Bengal. He completed his B.Pharm from Jadavpur University. He is a recipient of University Gold Medal in M.Pharm program. He did his PhD degree in pharmacology from the same university. He is a recipient of the most prestigious DST Inspire Fellowship from DST Government of India. Dr. Hussain is a former postdoctoral fellow in School of Medicine, University of Florida, USA. He has expertise on drug discovery research on infectious diseases, diabetes, and liver cancer. Currently, he's working on peptidomimetics against infectious diseases. He has published a number of research papers in peer-reviewed journals of international repute. He is also an associate editor for a couple of international journals and has contributed as a co-author of several books and book chapters on relevant topics. He is a recipient of Teacher of the Year 2017 award by Macau, West Bengal, for his outstanding performance in teaching, learning, and research. He has delivered a number of invited talks in national and international conferences in India and USA. He is also a reviewer of many journals of international repute. He has guided 18 PG students and now supervising 4 PhD students. Dr. Hussain is a member of several prestigious organizations like American Association of Pharmaceutical Scientists, American Association of Microbiology, American Association of Immunologists, and American Medical Writers Association. Welcome, sir. This is indeed honored to have both of you here for this evening program. Thanks a lot to both Dr. Islam and Dr. Hussain. Sir, we are all set now to begin the technical session. Over to you, Dr. Chaudhary, Mubassar Hussain. Sir, please, you may now start the session on higher education research and publication and overview. Sir, please.
Well, good evening, all. First of all, I heartily welcome our learned member of BASE and Executive Committee who have untiredly coordinating the program on different topics, and I came to know that it is like over 40 webinar has been conducted so far. Thanks, Mr. Anwar Hussain, for nice introduction. So it's a great pleasure for me today to be invited in this particular program of BASE. I feel honored, and thank you so much, Mr. Hassan Dhabak, for inviting me here. So already Dr. Muhammad Ataul Islam, he is an eminent speaker of today's webinar. The topic is higher education, research and publication. Very interesting topics are emerging topics. Those people who are doing higher education, research and publication, definitely. And I would like to share that Dr. Ataul Islam is very known to me. He's very close. Thank you, Dr. Islam. I heartily welcome you on this particular platform. And it's a really great pleasure to interact with you here because we known each other for a long time. So without
Yeah,
wasting much time, already Dr. Islam has been introduced to the people because he has a great career. Definitely, he's a very good scientist because I think I know him since since the last 10 years, and he is doing great job. He has a lot of good publications, definitely, which has a great impact on the science and society and technology, definitely. So today's topic is higher education research and publication. So all people who are engaged in the base, basically they are from academics and research, and many people are involved here for empowerment of the academics, research in the society. So without application part, nothing can be developed in the society. For application, you have to do research. For research, you have to do higher education. So higher education, research, publications, all these are to just solve the problem of the society in terms of any field like science, technology, management, or social science, anything. So without wasting much time, I would like to request Dr. Ataul Islam to start his talks. Dr. Islam, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Masum. I know him by name Masum. I think Mubassar is the right name. Okay, thank you so much for your kind words, and also I would like to thank Dr. Anwar Hussain for his kind introduction. So this talk will be in English or English Bengali both.
I think your talk, if you could maintain English, and sometimes if you can speak in Bengali, because many terms are there in research, you can explain in your mother tongue so people can understand. So if it is mixed, it should be fine, I think.
Okay, okay, thank you so much.
What do you say, Mr. Anwar Hussain or Hassan Dhabak? Any suggestion?
Yes, mixed is better.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So mixed is better. Thank you.
So my screen shared. Is it visible to everyone? Hello?
Yes,
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, okay. Okay, so welcome to all of you. And actually today I am going to present the higher education research and publication and about this overview of this topic, because I discussed with Dr. Abu Saleh, that is, initially I decided to present on a topic like self-medication, and then actually last to last, I think one actually into a topic on the higher education, when actually we discussed that is a lot of queries regarding the publication, impact factor, how to get the right journal. So all these things actually came on that seminar. So since then, I thought that is rather to present on the self-medication, it is better to actually discuss on the research and publication. So this is not the presentation, this is kind of the actually discussion, because I know a lot of people are here. I know very well Dr. Hussain, he is very eminent in this field. So this is kind of actually interaction, discussion, and type of thing. Okay. So today actually basically I will cover.
Please resume your PPT.
Kindly share your PPT.
Oh, okay.
So
Resume. Okay. Okay, it's okay. Okay. Yeah. So today I'll actually cover up the small about the overview of higher education. I'm not going to focus details on that, and then I'll go to focus mainly on the research manuscript writing, how to write the research manuscript, and then I will focus on journal and how the journal actually impact and the accreditations of the journals, how I can select this is a good journal, this is a bad journal, how can we decide. And then I will actually give some overview about the fake journals and accreditation journal metrics, that is accreditation bodies. And then actually, finally, I like go for the exploration of journals for your manuscript. So, what is actually which studies I should know that is higher education? So basically, in general, different countries have different view. But in general, when you actually passed out the high school, and then we enter in the college or university, so that actually little bit contains the higher education. But it is sometimes that is. Some countries also actually introduce some research in the school level as well. So in general, especially in India, actually, very few university actually introducing even the very few university introduce the research in graduation level, but in a master's level there is a part of the master degree, the research project, and then obviously the PhD and so on. So when we enter into the school, college level, then the higher education or higher studies actually. So there is actually a part of the research. So our topic, our discussion topic today is the research and the research manuscript. So what do you mean by research? Actually, this there's no particular definition, and man to man the definition of the research is vary. But this is actually given by Robert Beebe. He's an American sociologist. The research is a systematic inquiry to describe, explain, predict, and control the observed phenomena. And also research involves inductive and deductive methods. What do you mean by inductive and deductive? So suppose you have already a theory, so you can add on something on the theory, that is actually inductive. Or deductive, that is already theory is there, you can use your data to actually test those theories. So this kind of thing actually we consider research, but this is not research is a very wide subject. So what are the purposes of research? So the organization or business really want to find what actually the process that need to be followed to chase the idea. Now what are the arguments that need to be built around the concept? And what is the evidence that will be required for people to believe in the idea and concept? So these are the purposes of the research. So what are the characteristics of research? That the research should be systematic in approach, very, very important thing. Logical reasoning methods should be applied. Data from the real-time observation is required sometime. In-depth analysis is required. Then generating the new questions, that after the research, what next? What is your proposition? What is your future prospect? So that is actually the new questions may arise. And the accuracy is a very important thing for the research. And the systematic analysis and representation. So analysis, doing research analysis is one thing, and the representation of your data is the main thing. I do my research very good, but my representation is not okay, so no one will buy. So the representation, in the research, representation is a very important component for the successful research. If you are unable to represent your data properly, so the readers or the users unable to actually accept or unable to go ahead with this data. So the representation is a very, very important characteristics of the research. So research, survey research, correlational research, experimental research, these are quantitative research. I'm not going in details of these things. These are actually qualitative research, like focus on group, then one-to-one interview, case studies, record keeping, all these things. Now I'm going to main topic on the research design and then how to write the manuscript. So first of all, we have to identify the research question, what we want to do and what we want to try to solve in my research, maybe PhD, maybe postdoc, or any project. So make decision about what to study within each of the research areas. How can you identify research question? Very important. In a social media also, we sometimes get some people asking, please suggest me some good research topic in chemistry or physics or like that. So that is very much important, where from I get the idea about the research question. So I pointed out few, maybe there's a lot of ways to actually find out the research question. So one of these is reading regularly the field of interest. Suppose maybe you have a chemistry or you have a biology. So you read regularly on the on this field. Discussion with scientists and experts to that field. So then you can get some new ideas maybe. Keep an eye out of review papers or special issues, and that actually give you some new ideas to design your question, actually research question. And also it is sometimes it is very much helpful if you actually part of the group like journal clubs or etc. So that also sometimes give you the good idea for the research. Beyond this, there is a plenty of ways you can get the research, or you can discuss with your supervisor, you can discuss with colleagues. Lot of ways are there. So how to design the study? You must have good study design to get the publishable results. So if you want to publish the data, if you want to represent data to the scientific community in the worldwide, so your study design should be perfect. So when designing an experimental, you will need to decide what is your hypothesis or research question. That is, you have to understand the concept, what we are going to do. That is very much important. You have what hypothesis you want to actually going to solve. What are the aims of the study? To find out some, in case of the chemistry, new molecules. You're trying to somehow find out the new algorithms. You are trying to find out new devices. So that is also very important. What are the methods for achieving your aims? So you have hypothesis, you have aim, then what are the methods you are going to apply? That you have to actually decide. Do you have the necessary resource to carry out your methods? That is very also important, because you have the hypothesis, you have the objectives, you have decided what methods you want to do, but you don't have the resource, you don't have the funding, don't have the instrument, you don't have the lab. So that is another problem. So that you have to actually arrange. Which positive and negative controls you will use to fulfill the hypothesis, or to prove the hypothesis? That is another, you have to ask a question. Do you have the required ethics or regulatory permission? Especially in the experimental studies, you need the ethics approval or regulatory approval. That is also actually hectic. You have to apply, and a lot of things are there. Will your experiment have enough statistical power to give you useful results? So that is the, you have to prove statistically that is your results, your outcomes is actually robust in nature. So if you don't have the skill of the statistics, you can consult with your statistician. So most of the universities actually appointed the statistician, so you can contact with them, actually discuss with your problem to actually conclude the data statistically. So all these things actually when happen, now you are ready to write the publishable manuscript. Suppose all this you have done, and now we are going to write the manuscript. So to write the manuscript, what we have to do? So I'm basically very basic thing actually I know. So I'll go details, what are the components and etc. etc. So when we actually ready to write the manuscript, we can write for the thesis. We have the master thesis, PhD thesis, or any project thesis. We can write the manuscript for the journal, for the published work, or we can present our work in the conference. So we have to write the abstract, or for the application of the fund, we have to write the proposal, or we can write the book chapters and etc. So these are actually overall where actually when we are ready to write our outcome of the research. So I'm going to give the basic structure of the research. So these are actually general structure of the research manuscript. But sometimes it may vary depending upon the journal or etc. So title, abstract, keywords, introduction, materials and methods, results discussion. So sometimes result discussion together, or you can write that separately. Then conclusion, if there is something to acknowledge, like funding or someone who helped you or helped you. So those you can acknowledge. And also, if there is any conflict of interest, so that also you need to declare and find the references. So generally, maximum, that is most of the journals follow the IMRAD format, that is introduction, materials, results, and discussion. Yeah. But sometimes they actually vary. Sometimes some journals ask to present results discussion before the materials and method and all these things. But these are the general view, general topics in your research paper. So I'll actually discuss briefly each of the topic here. So the title should be short, and it should be it should reflect what you have done and what you want to actually present. And it is always recommended to avoid the abbreviation in the your title. So title may be descriptive type study, that like here one of the example here. Maybe any question type, you can ask the question, or you may mention the conclusion of your data. So these are general things, but there's no fixed hard and fast rule to write the title, but in general it should be short. Generally the journals ask it should not be more than 40 words, sometime maybe higher, some cases, but there is no abbreviation should be, except the standard well-known abbreviation. So these are titles. This abstract. Abstract is a trailer, like a film. So film comes first, and a trailer comes first, then the film release. So after see the trailer, we can get idea what kind of film it and what message try to give by this film. Okay. So similarly, the abstract comes beginning after the title. That actually, after reading your abstract, it's what readers should actually understand what you're trying to say or explain in this manuscript. So this abstract is very, very much important. So in a brief, in a 200 or 300 words, you have to explain everything. So some journal asks to you divide the introduction, materials, results, and discussion. Some journals, there are no format, so you can write a paragraph, but it should not be more than 300 or 350 or like that. And it should be about the images in abstract, tables, as well as references. These are things that should be avoided. Sometimes the conference abstracts actually you can give one figure or 2 or 3 references. That is fine. But for the manuscript, the reference should be avoided. Keywords. The keywords are actually the word by which actually your manuscript or your paper can be identified by the users. Should I resume? It's okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So the keywords, that actually, if someone actually give these keywords in the Google search and search engine, so that your manuscript should actually come. So the high points, some words, high words in your manuscript should be in the keywords. So generally up to 5 actually keywords required in most of the journal. Then introduction, or actually also sometimes called background. So in the introduction, you have to explain the problem. What is the current problem of your study? That is, suppose you are trying to study tuberculosis. So what is the situation of the tuberculosis? What is like if I explain it, that is tuberculosis is a solved disease, but due to the drug resistance, this disease came again. So that is a problem. And what are the solutions present for this disease? That you have to explain. And what is the recently developed, like 2, 3 years, 5 years. And then you have to actually find out the gap between gap exists in this field, and that gap you have to actually study. You have to your hypothesis should be in that gap. And when you write actually the your introduction, few recent citation should be added. The old references always be avoided, except it is actually the original research, like some hypothesis developed in 1980. So we can't do anything. That is fine. But for literature review, it is always recommended to give the as new as the citations. So this is actually the overall. So after introduction, one should actually understand what is the problem and what is the hypothesis you are going to solve, and also what methods you are actually going to use, and what you expect after finishing the project. Then the materials and methods. So this is very specific to the project. So what sample you have taken, what data set you have taken. So that is actually selection and description of the data set or participants. What techniques are you have used to actually analyze the data set to get the information, and then what are the statistical approaches you have actually taken to conclude your data, to infer your data. So that is actually should be the material methods. So in the material methods, although some techniques are well known and well explored, but if you given your manuscript, so the short or brief description should be given. That is very much important, because you don't know who will be the reader. Maybe the eminent professor, eminent scientist, maybe the newcomer, the new scholar, new student. So it is always recommended to give the brief description of all the approaches you have taken in the materials and methods. Then the results. So you have to describe the key findings, what you've got from your data and to the methodology you have applied. So you can represent your data through the tables and figures, and each and figures and tables should be actually given the proper legends or footnote, so that what data you have given in this table or what you want to try to emphasize on this figure, and that should be clear to the reader. And generally, it is general to our society, that is, if I have that negative results, so that is very dangerous. That is my research is in West. But this is not the thing. If you have the negative results, so you have to explain why this is negative results. Okay, so that is different thing. That is a separate topic to discuss. But if your data, if your study gives you the negative results, so that can also be explained with the proper reason. Okay, so that is another thing. So there in the research, there is no positive, no negative. Only based on data you have to actually explain. What is your opinion? What is your thought? And then you have to discuss. The discussion mainly actually your observation and your opinion, your direction. This is actually discussion. So you have to restate the study, the question, the problem that you have actually taken based on your data you got in the materials and the method section. And it is recommended to take your results, pick the results and discuss one by one, and give the direction. So this happened like this happened like this. Compare and contrast with the existing literature, whatever the literature actually available. So you can actually compare your outcome with the literature, how your results is comparable to the existing or how it is different to the existing literature, that also you can actually discuss in this discussion section. And you can use the references or the citations in this section as well. And in conclusion, actually we actually mixed up in the abstract and the conclusion. So conclusion, actually you have to give in a very brief what we got, what our findings, you have to give in the conclusion. And also based on the objective, based on the problem I have taken, based on that we have to conclude our data. And definitely it should be concise. And here, the future direction is very much important. So if this is your data, you have applied this method and you got these results, and this should be done. This can be done in the future. So that you have to give the future direction. That is very much important. And acknowledgement that I told in the beginning, that is, if you have any funding, so you can acknowledge. If you have someone who helped you, so you can acknowledge him or her. But it is about to actually acknowledge the HOD, Dean, Chairperson, Vice Chancellor, etc., etc. And also it should not be acknowledge the family members as well. The references. This is a very difficult part in the manuscript. Management of the reference is very difficult, because if you've written the manuscript and sometimes you actually alter the writing, so again you have to check and you have to format it. So it is recommended. There's a lot of referencing softwares are there. Some are freely available, some are actually commercial. So like Jotero, then Reference Manager, Mendeley, these are the free reference manager, or you can use the EndNote. So that is actually different. If you have this type of software, if you know this type of software, referencing software, because it is very easy to learn actually. So no matter which format you want, which genre format you want, in a one click, in a single click, you can format actually. So that is the one thing for references. The most important thing, the plagiarism. It is very big problem right now for the research. We should actually avoid the plagiarism. So I know the idea, most of you know that what is plagiarism, but just briefly I am to explain. Plagiarism, that means you are copy the some portion or some sentences or even single sentences to other citation directly. That is called the plagiarism. You can't. You write your own language, then you cite. So sometimes actually happens that is we copied unintentionally. Sometimes we copied or write similar to the other authors or other citation. So there's a lot of softwares are there which actually check your plagiarism. So you can use this, turn it in one of the best, but it is not free. But I'm not sure about the rest of them. They are free or commercial. So you can use the different plagiarism software. I think now every university has their library has their own plagiarism software. So what are the nutshell of this manuscript writing? In introduction, why did we start? That should be emphasized on the introduction. In methods, what did we do? And the results, what did we find? Discussion, hence, what does it mean? And then finally conclusion, what do we recommend? So these are actually the basic or the main things in the manuscript or the components of the manuscript. So now we understand the manuscript, what is research, we've done the research, we wrote the manuscript. Now I have to submit the manuscript to the journal. So just I'll stepwise actually explain how to submit your manuscript. So,
Please resume your PPT.
okay, sure. It's okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So once you have written your manuscript, now the next step, find a journal. How to find a journal, that I'll discuss in a few moments. So you find a suitable journal related to your field, and then first thing you have to do, read the author's guidelines. That's very much important. Different journals have their own guidelines, so that you have to actually read very carefully, and then change your manuscript as per guidelines. Then actually some of the journals ask the reviewers names, so you can find 3 or 4 scientists or professor or related to who is working in your field, so that is you can find. Once you got these things, submit the manuscript, and after the submission, just relax, wait for some time. So then it will go to the editorial approval. Editor will check initially if there is any problem. So sometime editor actually return your manuscript, and if everything is okay, so editor will send to the review. So after review, the reviewer comments will come. So the independent reviewers will comments on your manuscript, and it will come your comments. So the comments may be for the revision, or maybe it is rejection. If it is reject, then again you go back and find another suitable journal and follow the process. If you got the revision, then revise your manuscript, response to the reviewer, and submit it again, and then again wait. After waiting, maybe after some time, your manuscript may be accepted, or maybe another time it is maybe has to revise, or may be reject. If you reject, then again go the first step. If it is actually has to revise, again you revise your manuscript and submit. And then finally, maybe you're happy, or you're stressed, or you're sad. So depending upon the accept, revision, or reject. So this is actually the overall actually. Now I explain that is how to write the manuscript, then how to submit, and how it is goes. Now the main important thing, how can we actually select the journal? What is journal, and who actually give the credit or impact the journals? That is very much important, and we need to know. So that I will actually explain one by one. So what is journal? It is a scholarly publication written by researchers, professors, and other experts. And journal focus on a specific discipline or field, or it is a journal intended for an academic or technical audience. Different from newspaper, definitely, and it is not also the like entertainment magazines. Journal generally published regular basis, maybe some journal weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, and so on. So if you're looking back, that is when the journals actually came. So the first in 1323, that is Compagnie du Guy Scawa, that is, it is actually the oldest learned society, and it is formed in France. And then in Royal Society of London, established in 1660, and they actually first published the 5th January 1665, that is Cavaness, this is the journal. And in the same year, in 6th March, they first time published the Philosophical Transcription of Royal Society of London. This is a journal, and this journal was very much famous. This is very famous because these are the scientists: Newton, Hooke, or Leeuwenhoek, Faraday, Darwin. They published their work in this journal. So these were actually now gradually the lot of journals came, and now you know what is the situation. So the journals may be the scholarly and research journals, maybe the professional trade or industry journals, maybe popular and news magazine. So these are some example. We know that is JAMA or Journal of Geography, and these are the research journals, so where the scholar or the scientist can publish their research work. These are the professional like mechanics and industry. This is another example of journal. And these are the popular magazine or actually so Time or Newsweek or Outlook, etc. Now I'm coming to the main point, the main either journal accreditation. Who actually tells you which journal is better, which journal is not better, which journal is suitable for you, which journal is not suitable for you. So one of the Clarivate Analytics along with the Web of Science. Another is Scopus and the Scimago Journal and Country Rank. So I'll discuss all of them one by one, and how the impact factor actually calculated, how the site score calculated. So the impact factor, this is the guy actually, Eddie Garfield, who actually first time proposed the regarding the impact factor. So the basic principle of the journal evaluation by Clarivate, the Clarivate or Web of Science, what are their assumptions? So they see the objectivity of the journal, they see the selectivity of the journal, and also they see the collection material of the journal. Along with that, they use 28 more criteria to evaluate a particular journal. So I'm not going to all these criteria actually. So they have the journals that meet the quality, they enter into the ESCI, that Emerging Source Citation Index, and it is for all field. And a few journals maybe enter in the SCIE, that is Science Citation Index Expanded, some Social Science Citation Index, or Arts and Humanities Citation Index. So these are actually types of categories in the Clarivate. So what are the components by which actually Clarivate or Web of Science evaluate the journal? So there is journal impact factor, immediate journal impact factor, eigenfactor, impact factor without self-cite, and journal impact factor quartile. So I'll explain one by one. So what is the journal impact factor? So one citation to the journal to items published in the previous 2 years divided by the total number of scholarly items published in the journal in the previous 2 years. So this is very confusing. So I'm going to actually explain it. Suppose I want to calculate the journal impact factor of a journal in 2019. So I have to see, that is in 2017, how much journal published, how much article published in that journal. So suppose 200. In 2018, how much articles published? Suppose 210. And in 2019, entire 2019, how many articles of among articles from this 410 cited by the other journals or self-cited, whatever. So the total number of citations in 2019 from the article published in 2017 and 2018. So suppose to 623. So the journal impact factor of the 2019 should be, that is the 623 divided by 200, and that is 410. So that is equal to 1.52. I repeat it, which is very confusing actually. Suppose particular journal of molecular graphics and modeling. I take the example. So this journal in 2017 published 200 articles, and 2018 it published 210. So total number of articles published in the previous 2 years. So that is actually the 410. And the number of citation done from these 410 in 2019. So that is 623. So that is actually they calculate the impact factor. So again, this is another example for the scientometrics. So they actually calculate the impact factor of 218. So citation in 218 to items published in 2016 and 2017, and the number of items, total item published in 2016 and 2017, that is actually 2.77. So this is actually the journal impact factor. Now, what is the immediate journal impact factor? Suppose I calculate the immediate journal impact factor of 2019. So total number of citation in 2019 and the total number of articles published in that year, that is actually the immediate journal impact factor. And the another component, that is the eigenfactor, that actually measures the number of times articles from the journal published in the past 5 years have been cited in the journal citation in the year. That means 2019, right? So the how much journal published, this is actually not related to this citation. This is actually to the volume. So if a journal published more and more articles, so the eigenfactor will be higher. Okay, so that is actually not the rank or not the that's actually the volume of the publication, and it counts citation to journal both sciences and social sciences, and it eliminates the self citations actually. Impact factor without self-cite, that means the one article cited another article from the same journal. That is a self-citation actually called. So the impact factor without self-citation, that is similar to the impact factor calculation, except the self-cited citations are removed, are excluded. That is called the impact factor without self-cite. And then actually the impact factor quartile, this is actually basically rank among the subject. You can from this value you can understand that is the how good in the rank in the particular field in a chemistry. Suppose the journal in a chemistry, so your is the particular journal how it is in a higher rank or lower rank. So the journal impact factor quartile is the quotient of journals ranks category X and the total number of journals in this category Y, and that can be calculated by Z. So very simplify here. So that is I am trying to calculate the percentile rank Z. So Z equals to the rank of a journal in category C and the total number of journals in that category. So that fraction value will give you the Z value. And then based on the Z value, we can actually define the quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, quartile 4. If the Z value less than equal to 0.25, so that is in a Q1, so it is a higher rank. Definitely, that if your suppose your journal in rank 2, so the and total number of journals may be 50, so 2 by 50, so definitely the value will be less. So the Q1, that is if the value less than equals to 0.25. If the percentile actually in between 0.25 to 0.5, so that is a Q2, and if it is less than 0.75 and greater than 5, so Q3, and then Q4. So based on this value, so every journals actually in the Clarivate or Web of Science actually gives the Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 rank. So from this value, we can understand that is in my field how this journal actually ranks and where it is actually positioned. So example, so this is a Nature Energy journal, and it is actually Q1 category. So it shows that 2019, 2018, 2017, Q3 in energy and fuel category. And here, the right-hand side, this is also in Q1 in the category of material science and multidisciplinary science. So in both discipline, this journal belongs to Q1. But in 2016, it was in Q4. Another example here, Journal of Philosophy of Education. here the two categories here I found here. One is the category of education and education research. In this category, it is Q4. But in a history of social science category, it is Q2. So this way actually, so if my data, my research related to the history of social science, so definitely I'll actually consider this journal is a good journal. But my research is the education and education research, so definitely I won't consider this is a good journal. This is a Q4. So this is actually the journal quartile actually gives you the quality of your journal. Now, actually, how can we check in a Clarivate of your interest of journal? So I think this is not free. You need the subscription, but I think universities should have the access. But I'm not sure actually. I was exploring the how many Indian institute or universities actually have this access. So very few university I found. Among them, Vidyasagar University is there, but even Calcutta University is not there. So if you go to this Clarivate website, so you will get this homepage. So you can browse your journal. You browse the journal by journal name or by category, or you can give the custom reports. So if suppose I go to the journal, so here, so suppose I check the details of the Nursing Outlook journal. So it will actually give you that is Elsevier, the publication from the Elsevier, and also it will give you the journal impact factor, the 2.833, and how they actually calculated here actually given below, and you can see that the site written very clearly here. The journal impact factor equal to citation in 2019 to items published in 2017 plus 2018 divided by the total number of publication in 2017 and 2018. And also you can actually check, browse the journals by the rank. If you click on the journals by rank, so the according to the impact factor, descending order of the impact factor, all the journals name will come, and you can actually you can click on that and see the details of the journal. Or also you can browse with the category like economics, mathematics, or social science, or pharmacy, and whatever. So this is the rank, the quartile of the Nursing Outlook journal, and it is Q1 since 2015. It is Q1 actually. It's a very good journal. And this is actually, if you go at the bottom of this page, so you can see the details of the journal Nursing Outlook. So total citation, that is 2092. Journal impact factor, 5 years impact factor, immediate impact factor without self citation, eigen factor. Then article influence, so citable items, etc., etc. So all the data you will get from this website actually. So I'm just very briefly I'm going to show you one example if the time permits. Is this okay? A time permit korbe to?
Yes, yes, no problem.
Okay. So just I'm going to here. Sometimes it creates problem. So what happens? Sorry. What happens? Okay, not just a minute. Okay, so,
I think it's not working.
it
So-
should work. Yeah, now it's
Islam.
fine.
Yeah.
So I'm going to the browse journal. So here you can search by the by rank here. So all this rank here. So you can see the highest impact factor 292 for the CA Cancer Journal. The New England Journal of Medicine 74. You can browse through the category, different category, and what are the journals are there. You can go for. So suppose I am going to open this chemistry and physics. Okay, so sorry, I'm not going to. So I'm going to search one journal here. Suppose Nature. So Nature Cell Biology. So here actually it will show you that is the impact factor, current year impact factor 20 here. So if you go down, how they calculate the impact factor, what are the citable items in 2018, 2017, and what are the citations so far in 2019, from where actually. Then if you go down here the rank, so it is a Q1 journal. So and that is general impact factor percentile. So in cell biology it is Q1, but there's a no quartile for the biochemistry and molecular biology. If you go down, so here actually we'll get the details about your journal. So based on this data, you can select which journal is actually suitable for your manuscript. Now I'm going to move to another that is accreditation, that is Scopus, and it is a database of Elsevier, and Elsevier actually founded in 1880, and now it is actually, it has evolved from the small Dutch publishing house, and now I know how it is actually. So these are the Nobel laureates published their research in this publication, the Elsevier. So Scopus is belongs to the Elsevier, and it launched in 2004, and it is actually the source neutral abstract and citation database curated by independent subject matter experts. It contains more than 25,000 journals from more than 500 international publishers. And this delivers the most comprehensive overview in the field of science, technology, and medicine, social science, arts, and humanities. So this is overview updated in the January 2020. So more than 25,000 journals are there. And then among these, there is over 23,000 peer-reviewed journals, 294 the trade publication, 852 books, 9.8 million conference papers. So these are the over 77.8 million records total. So more than 44 million patents are there. And these are actually the distribution for the different publishers. So Elsevier itself actually contributed 10%, followed by the Springer 8%, Wiley 5%, Taylor & Francis 5%, and so on. And most of this, the remaining 60% from the other publishers actually contributed in the Scopus database. So that also already I have actually explained, that is more than 70,000 institution profile and more than 16 million authors profiles are present in Scopus. So Scopus is a very enriched, information enriched database for the researchers to explore the experts in my field, to explore the data in my field, to explore the research in my field. So these are the basic characteristics of this Scopus, that is to identify the, analyze which journals to read. You can track and assess the research impact, because already more than 70,000 institutional profiles are there. You can decide what and where and with whom to collaborate. Because if I know my research field, so I'll get the similar people in this database. So I'll understand whom to collaborate. We can track the impact of research, monitor the global research trends. Also, you can find the current research, what has been published in the research area. Also, you can determine how to differentiate research topics and finds the ideas also. So, as Clarivate use a different component for the journal quality, like the journal impact factor, on eigenfactor, on etc. Similarly, these are the actually components of Scopus which actually used to rank or used to assess the quality of the journal. That is site score and a source normalized impact for a paper, SciMago journal rank, and the citation and documents count. So I'll go one by one very briefly. So site score. This is actually suppose I want to calculate the site score of 2019. So total number of citations of this journal in 2019, 2018, 2017, and 2016 divided by the total number of publications in these 4 years. So that is actually the site score, the data. So here, the total citation in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 divided by the total number of publication in these years. So that is actually give you the site score of a particular journal. So here, one very important thing, difference is there. In journal impact factor, in the Clarivate, they use the citation for the research article and reviews only. But here in the site score include the articles, reviews, conference paper, book chapters, and data. So this is one of the major difference between the site score and the journal impact.
Mr. Islam, আপনার ভয়েসটা বোধহয় ব্রেক করছে।
আমি কি হেডফোন ছেড়ে দেবো নাকি?
না, আপনার ভিডিওটা অফ করে দিন তো।
ভিডিও অফ করবো?
হ্যাঁ, আপনি কন্টিনিউ করুন। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Okay. Okay. So that is the main difference is between the journal impact factor and site score. So here the Nature site score in 2019 is 51. And another example here, International Social Science Journal, the site score is 0.6. So this value also give you idea that is the how this journal is actually. It is good or bad, or it should be taken or not. So this is a difference actually. So in journal impact factor in the Clarivate and the site score in the Scopus. So evaluation period for the impact factor is taken 2 years, the previous 2 years. A site score actually the 4 years. Database, that's called the journal citation report database, and it is called the Scopus. Number of index journal, it is a data of 2016, so about data 11,000, and here is 22,000, almost double. The very crucial thing here, the JCR, that is Clarivate, you need the subscription, that is your institution should have, or but site score, that is the Scopus, is free, so anyone can actually access. And that is, I explained in the previous slide, that is for the journal impact factor only considers the articles and reviews, but here in the site scores, it along with the articles, reviews, it actually conference papers, data, etc., all the things are actually considered. So these are the difference between the journal impact factor and site score. This is the SciMago journal. This actually gives you the quality of the journal. So it is actually the average number of weighted citation received in a year and number of documents published in previous 3 years. So this is very fuzzy type of calculation. I was trying to understand, but actually very difficult. Weighted citation, that means in which impact journal it is actually published. Suppose it is cited in Nature, it is cited in any Q4 journal or in a Q3 journal. So that is actually very difficult to decide. So this is actually give you about the impact or the quality impact of the journal, Scimago journal rank actually. And there is source normalized impact per paper, and this is the numbers journal citation count per paper divided with the citation potential in its subject field. So this is actually the single citation will have a higher value in subject areas where citations are less likely, and vice versa. So this is another way actually, not much crucial, but one of the actually parameter to adjust. So here actually, if you see one journal, the Lancet. So if you open the Lancet in the Elsevier, the home page, so you will get the site score, impact factor, that is this impact factor from the Clarivate, that is JCR. Also 5 years impact factor, then the source normalized impact per paper, Scimago journal. So all the data you will get in the journal homepage in the Elsevier. Now, just very briefly, I'll show you one how Scopus, and then I'll go. So here, so you can view the journal ranking here. So the title, and suppose I want to Journal of Molecular Structure. So I got this journal. So here initially it's saying that is site score 4, highest percentile 64, the citation this. So if you open this journal here, so you will get the details, the site score 2019 and how they calculate. This also given here, and also here in the site score tracker 2020, that is the updated in every month. Monthly updated data actually, this one, and how this is ranked in the inorganic chemistry, how it is ranked in the analytical chemistry. So 64th in inorganic, analytical chemistry 62, the organic chemistry 58. So these data will actually give you idea to select the proper journal, appropriate journal for your research. Now I want to move the fake journals and the journal matrices. A lot of journals. I was reading one article. I'll show you the article here. So he said that I think the most of the scientists or the professors here, they also experience the same thing. Regularly, the international journal of this, submit your manuscript. Every day, 2 or 3 emails you will get. So these you have to be aware such type of journals, those are fake journals, or they actually give you the fake journal matrices or the data. So that is very crucial to actually. So this is called as the predatory journal. So the predatory journals take advantage of authors by asking them to publish for a fee without providing peer review or editing service. So sometimes you submit your paper, you will publish within 1 week or 3 days or 10 days. So like this. And I think I mentioned that is in the one of the lectures we discuss about this. That is how they publish without any peer review. And these predatory publishers do not follow the proper academic standard for publishing, and usually offer a quick turnaround on publishing a manuscript. Recently, and I think 2-3 months back, one new journal in India, like I forget the name exactly, the new journal, they published one paper, the impact of Thali and Ghanti for the corona. I think few people have actually seen that manuscript, and it is viral in the social media. And once it is viral, then the journal withdraw the manuscript. So before publishing the manuscript, the editor or reviewer never actually read once that manuscript. If any editor or reviewer reads the manuscript, it won't be possible to publish such kind of irrelevant, unscientific manuscript in any journal. So this type of thing happens actually. And how can we actually find out the predatory journals? You will get the frequent email for asking your. So you have to ask your colleague or friend that you are aware of this journal or not. You can explore the editorial board and you can individually contact with the editorial board members. You contact the publishers.
Dr. Islam, please resume your.
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine.
So you can contact the publishers, or also you should explore that if there is a clear peer review process is there or not, and what about the fees, because sometimes they ask 3,000 or 4,000 or 6,000 and like that. So these are very crucial things actually. One incident happened in UK, I think, a few years back. Just I want to share with you that such type of journal asking the paper. So one guy, what happened? He given the title, he given the abstract, and he just write ABCD, ABCD, ABCD all over the manuscript and just format according to the manuscript instruction and submit the journal. Within few days, the editor told that your manuscript has been accepted, you have to pay. Then he paid the fees, and within 2-3 days the paper came online without that ABCD, ABCD, ABCD. And then that guy actually complained with the authority, and finally that journal actually stopped. So this type of thing happens with this type of journal. So you can, if you explore much about the journal, so you can get. So here one of the link here. So here few lists are there. These are actually the fake accreditation, journal accreditation group, which gives the impact factor of the journal 5, 10, 6. So when we see the impact factor 6, that is a very good journal. So these are type of the fake actually citation accreditation groups are there. They they calculate the wrong way and give the impact factor. So please be aware of this thing actually. So I was talking about this guy actually. This is Bhushan Patwardhan. He wrote this actually story in the Nature. How actually this type of journals impact the Indian research. And then he actually, I think, associated with the UGC as well, and they actually do some guidelines to improve the quality of the journals and all these things. And now it is better, but I was looking at the UGC care list. So although there are a lot of journals, those don't have the Scopus or any accreditation at all. And here, this is a very actually worrying thing here. This data I got for this article from Nature. That is how the actually Indian scientists publish their data in the such type of fake or predatory journals. So they used, they actually considered 200 journals, fake journals, they studied, and they found maximum paper published from the India. So then followed by the actually USA. So here this type of actually journals or repeated requests to the scientists actually we what I can say sometimes unable to judge and we publish the data. So it is we should be careful such type of journals actually. So these are actually some example here. The European Journal of Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Every week I am receiving this request from this journal. I unsubscribed, and again I don't know how they actually send. So you can see here the impact factor 6.044. The ICV 77. Another journal, World Journal of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, impact factor more than 7.6. Another journal, International Journal of Advanced Research, the impact factor 7. So these are very confusing. So we have to be very careful when select a journal. We should go to the Clarivate or Scopus to check the quality of the journal. Now, I explain the research, I explain how to write the manuscript, and how to select a journal, then how to check the quality of journal. Now, how can we actually search the journal? So I think I won't take much time. So how to actually select the search the journal? So maybe automatic way we can use, or we can use a manual. So automatic, there is a lot of publishers, they actually help you. So in Elsevier, there's a journal finder. So if you go in the journal finder, you will get this form. So you just fill the probable title here. Then the draft abstract may not be the final, or maybe final, whatever, and you can give some keywords, and you can also select research field. If these are not mandatory, research field is not mandatory, answer keyword not mandatory. So once you submit it, this will give you a number of journals list, and from you can actually check the quality and select journal. So I have given this title, socioeconomic disparities in health, pathology, and politics, and I say the abstracts. Actually, this is a published paper. Actually, I took from there and randomly search it, and I got 50 journals where this type of data, this type of research can be submit. So one is the health and place. So you can go for use the see the site score, impact factor, the acceptance rate, and time, the first decision or the publication time. So the next one you can scroll one by one, and you can check which journal is suitable for your research. Another is a Willy, the same way Willy journal finder. Here also you can submit your title, your abstract, and you can submit. So it will give you the list of probable or suitable journals from the Willy publications. So Spinger also they have. Beyond that, there is other sites. I'm not much aware of those sites, but there is other sites where you can submit your title and your abstract. So you can actually get that. So if you worried about that, if I submit my title, my abstract, so someone may actually taken. So don't worry. You can search any research paper related to your research and submit that abstract and title. So it will give you the idea. And the manually, you can find the articles, published article related to your field. So if you explore the journal, which journal this type of research already published, you can actually explore the experts, that are scientists or professors, and all these things, and where they actually publish their actual data. Also, you can talk your friends, or talk your supervisor, talk your teachers. So that way you can actually find manually the journals actually. So finally, I'll conclude. So research made with passion and dedication. Definitely you need the passion and dedication. You have to identify the problems, and you have to do the project design. And I understand, and I see that is the publishing paper is like a selling goods. So when someone sells the good, he or she represent the goods very perfectly, so that the customer can actually buy. So I am publishing my paper. That means I am selling my data, my research article. So I have to present my data in such a way that someone can buy it. That is the main important, that is you have to represent your data perfectly so that the customer can actually buy, the journal can buy. Beware of the fake journals. I already discussed it. That is, it is very essential. Don't publish single paper in a year, but in a good journal. If you published 10 articles in a year in like predatory journals, there is no worth instead of one paper in a good journal. And how can we actually judge that is you are progressing? If your new publication is better than the previous one, then you can think, yes, I am progressing. My new research article or niche research is better than the previous one. So, okay, so thank you so much for your attention, for your patience. So I'm ready for question.
Thank you, Dr. Islam, for excellent presentation, which is definitely self-explanatory and thought-provoking, lucid, and you have presented in a crystal clear manner to the participants. And I'm sure all of us are benefited with this presentation. You have clearly explained from the genesis of the publication, starting from hypothesis, problem, ethics, statistics. Even you explained the IMRAD, introduction method, result and discussion part. Also, you have highlighted that is really interesting, that negative result is also a result. Negative result in the research is also a result. And you have also advised us not to cite the old reference except those references are standard protocol which has developed earlier in old age. And you have also that's very much interesting. I am impressed with in discussion part you have said that how your result is differ from existing research, and what is your new findings that should be discussed in the discussion part. Yes, that is very important point. And also you have discussed that will definitely percolate the information to the audience and researcher that fake journal nowadays, really lot of fake journals are there, and India is becoming a hub of fake journal in the world. And Authenticate, he has explained a lot of software like duplicate checker, Turnitin. I use this personally Authenticate. Most of the university Authenticate. I think Dr. Islam will agree with me. Yeah. Authenticate should be, I think it is a very good software to.
Yeah, I think so. Because I generally use the Turnitin.
Yeah.
But definitely these are actually good softwares.
Authenticate is very good to check your plagiarism, copyright, etc. And he has also explained, like a teacher, how you will submit the manuscript. It's really nice. We just listen like a student. And I also have seen that is very important that he has explained, which is not really available in any other presentation nowadays, that he has explained accreditation, how paper journal is accredited, how impact factor is generated, what is citation, why citation is divided, number of citation is divided by number of publications, what is immediate impact factor, what is impact factor. So a lot of things he has explained, and now I'm sure that he has not given any scope to ask any question. So I would like to request any question from our participants, please. Any question, please?
আচ্ছা চ্যাট বক্সে বোধহয় কিছু কোশ্চেন আছে ডক্টর সিএম হোসেন, you can see
chat box here. Turn on caption. Where is chat box here?
you are doing from laptop না, ল্যাপটপ থেকে
laptop
পিপল আছে আর চ্যাট বলে আছে, দুটো অপশন
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ,
ডান দিকে উপরে। তো চ্যাট
Right,
বক্স
right.
করলে অনেক কনভারসেশন আছে,
রাইট।
এখান থেকে আপনি কিছু কোশ্চেন দেখতে পাবেন অলরেডি।
Many people asked to share your PPT, Dr. Ataul.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
I think I'll send the base, and I think they can share. Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, no problem.
So, Dr. Ataul, this is Abdul.
Yes, Abdul Ghafoor.
Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, I am working in a private sector, but I am also interested in research. So, how I can do research? Okay, how I can publish without taking any admission in university, any college? Is it possible?
That depends on your company. If your company allowed,
Okay.
because as I know, because company has some stringent rules and their way of research. So if you are actually publishing the beyond that area with the name of the company, so I think there will be the conflict of interest, and that actually you can discuss with your company supervisor. So he or she can actually better give you, because I don't think so, because company generally don't allow the publish the paper with their name beyond their scope of research.
Okay. At the company level, we have a research and development section is there. Okay, higher education. So I think okay. First we need.
Yeah, they can help. I think much more.
Okay, thank you.
This is Shomo Mukherjee. Am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, I was asking a question. I produced my question in chat box as well. I was asking about the entry of control in any particular experiment. Suppose we are using any control in any one experiment. There might be many controls for one experiment. Suppose in case of spectrophotometer, we can use water, we can use acetone, we can use media as well as in control. So in controlling, the meaning of the research gets changed. So how to implement that control, how to include that control thing in the research paper in order to get to be fixed in the meaning of the research?
No, actually, in general, you asked a very specific question, but in general, the control means that is how can you actually judge your data is good or bad? So some control should be there. Am I right? I'm talking about in general. Suppose I am actually identified one molecule. So my molecule is better than the existing molecule or not. So that existing molecule I can take the control. So I think this is specific question answer regarding this chemistry. I think Dr. Mubassar can answer. Am I right?
Okay, sir. So actually, the thing is that in case of different controls, suppose taking your example in molecular level, suppose we are comparing one molecule with the other, molecule A with molecule B, taking molecule B as control. So our results will change completely in case we take molecule A with molecule C. So how will we, in that case,
so that B is already established molecule, or that is your molecule that you got from your study?
Okay, sir. Actually, it depends on study.
Oh, then I don't think so. That will be the control. So that you have to prove that. I think this is disturbing. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, I think the control, that means that is your outcome is how actually better than other that existing one or existing parameters, or it is bad or like that. So that way you can compare. That way you use the control. But if your both molecules of your molecule, new molecule, this you don't know. This is the activity or standardity of the molecule. So I don't think so. You will get you can consider this is a control molecule.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
এখানে আরেকটা কোশ্চেন আছে
হ্যাঁ
যেটা আপনি অলরেডি বলে দিয়েছেন।
হ্যাঁ
সেটা হচ্ছে উনি বলতে চাইছেন যে কিভাবে আমরা ফেক জার্নাল সিলেক্ট করব, কোনো কি লিস্ট তো অলরেডি দেয় ইউজিসি, তো তাছাড়া বা কিভাবে সিলেক্ট করব?
দ্য ফেক জার্নাল যেটা আমি অলরেডি বললাম, বাংলায় বলবো নাকি?
আপনি ইংরেজিতে বলুন।
The
আমি
fake
জানি না।
journal I already discussed.
হুম।
There is a sub list. UGC also given the list and has somewhere else. The better is that you check that I discussed that you check the editorial board. You check the review process. You check the time of acceptance. And also check the quality of the paper published. So, and if and then if you actually are not satisfied, so you contact with the editor or some of the editors or some of the editorial board member, if they are really from the good institute, and then ask them that is whether this journal is good or not. So this way you can actually, there's a no definite because the new journals are coming every day. So the lists are not updating every day. Maybe after a certain time, you see updated the list. So this way you actually verify the fake journals or quality of the journals.
Okay, there is another question, I think from a student. So what is the rule of writing abstract? So
That I explained, that is abstract is the trailer of the film. Your manuscript is film and abstract is the trailer. So by that in a abstract, you have to give the introduction, you have to give the methods, what methods you have, and you also have to give the results, and also you have to give the conclusion. But one sentence, two sentences, three sentences like that each. So it should not be more than 250 or 300 words. But this entire abstract should reflect what you have done in the entire manuscript. So introduction 2 lines or 1 line maybe, then materials method 2-3 lines, results 2-3 lines, and then conclusion 1 line. So that is way actually.
okay, there is a very pointed question. Is plagiarism is different for universities?
I think Abu Bhai or anyone else can explain better in an Indian scenario. But I think yes, because as I know, that is the different university accept the different percentage of plagiarism. Some university excludedly 10%, some university allow 18%. So I am not sure, but I know that is different university allow different percentage of similarity, but maximum I think 25 or like that. But I am not sure which university allow how much percentage. Abu Salawai can I think give more details about this.
Yeah. I'm audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it for PhD submission, PhD or MPhil, something like that? Or okay, if it is PhD, then earlier it was like 25% or so, but right now things are getting little difficult and closer. So right now in and around it will be 10 for all universities. In rare cases, like if you publish your own paper and insert in your PhD or something like that, that is some like 15% or so, but it depends on the university. But generally it right now, as Ataul said, it's around 10 to 15%.
Okay, there is another question. What type of research can use the social science research? I think Abu Saleda can answer it.
Yeah, I think so. Abu Saleh, are you there?
Question?
What type of research can use the social research? অথবা সোশ্যাল সায়েন্স রিসার্চ হবে হয়তো।
কোন প্রশ্নের মানে দাঁড়াচ্ছে না। মেথডোলজি বলছে, দেন কোয়ালিটেটিভ কোয়ান্টিটেটিভ এই ধরনের।
আই থিংক মেথডোলজি বলতে পারছি চাইছি।
হ্যাঁ। সো ওই তো দুই ধরনের মেথডোলজি আছে, একটা হচ্ছে কোয়ালিটেটিভ এন্ড কোয়ান্টিটেটিভ। এটা ডিপেন্ড করছে রিসার্চের উপরে, হোয়াট কাইন্ড অফ রিসার্চ ইউ আর ডুইং এন্ড হাউ ইট ফিটস ইনটু।
উনি আরো হয়তো বলতে চাইছেন যে সোশ্যাল সায়েন্সের ক্ষেত্রে মানে এপিএ কিংবা এমএলএ কোন স্টাইল ফলো করা হতে পারে, এগুলো হয়তো টোটাল ওভারঅল নিয়ে জানতে চাইছেন। clarify.
APA MLA depends on you or the university institution. Basically, many people institution will follow MLA. So it depends. You can change it, no problem.
Okay, there's another question. How to write cover letter to editor?
Okay. Cover letter, you have to explain very within 2-3 sentences. That is what you have done, and you have to give the that is what is the purpose of the research and what you have done and what you got, and then you have to declare that is you have not submitted this manuscript elsewhere, or there is no conflict of interest. So this type of declaration. So this type of information you can write, and you can approach that is this article falls in your scope of the journal. So this way, actually, very briefly, very information about your manuscript, 2-3 lines, and then declaration.
Okay, there is another question, very pointed question. You referred to one's idea being stolen. Could you please elaborate this point a little more? The question from, I think, Professor Amjad Hossain.
Idea stolen, I'm not sure on which concern actually saying that is. So that means someone has stolen your idea. That means data. If doctor is there, so he can speak.
No, when you submit the paper, for instance, to any journal, or you are going to search, so that in that context you said it, when you are trying to search for which journals to be published, and you give the title of the paper, etc. So then is there any possibility of your idea being stolen from the title or from the keywords or from the
actually, yeah, actually, this Elsevier or Wiley or Springer, they are actually trusted publishers. So I don't think so. There is a possibility to steal your idea. So I don't think so. But there is a lot of fake journal findings sites are there. So be careful. But I don't think so. And abstract identity idea, how can actually one can get your data from the abstract and title? So I don't think so. But if you want to, if you think so, so you can actually download any published paper related to your field and use those abstract and title. But I don't think so. This is trusted. This type of publishers will steal your info, that is concept or title.
Yeah, I just like to add, it happens in Indian scenario, sometimes especially in social science and humanities. Sometimes your journal editor or publisher, they either copy your idea or paper or something like that. But in sciences, it generally doesn't happen, because in science you have that open thing, no? Before publishing, sometime also you put it in online and get review and some kind of thing. So people know that you are working on this. But in humanities and social sciences, it happens sometime.
Yeah, it happens, but very rare actually. What happened once with me actually? I have submitted one paper, and within after submission, within 1 week, I got an email and an unknown person, and he was asking about the idea about this research, and you interested to collaborate. So I was surprised, and then I explored his profile and found he's a established scientist. And then I realized that my paper actually went to him for review. So this happens. You can't say that 100% here, but it's okay. You have to trust somewhere or someone. Otherwise, I can't publish my paper.
Okay, next question আছে দুজনের একই question. Sir, can you please suggest some journal on social science that will not charge any publication fees? Next question, sir, what is the difference between difference between peer review journal and UGC listed journal.
Okay. Okay, so I come to the first point, that is some free journals. Okay, yeah, you go to the Scopus, search your according to your subject wise, and you will get the plenty of journals. So if you category wise, if you go and if you show the social science, so and then you open this each journal and go to the author guidelines. So you'll get, that is, if it is chargeable, so it will HAPC is there. If not, so you will get plenty of journals they published without any charge. So I think it is very easy. Go to the Scopus and search it. So that is the best way. And I think there is a lot of journals are there, they don't charge. And second thing, the peer-reviewed and AGC journal, these are different things. Peer-reviewed, that means you submit your journal, your paper in the journal, the editor will send for the review, that may be blind review or maybe review, that is sent to the reviewers for the comments. And then based on the comments, editor will decide what is accepted or rejected, or it needs a revision. So this is called a peer-reviewed journal. This method which actually allow or follow the journal, that is called peer-reviewed journal. UGC list journal, these are journals. The UGC actually have their guidelines there, that is which are the journals should be actually okay. So someone published a paper, so he or she get the PhD degree. So they have the list of journals. So those journals also, I think, peer-reviewed journal. So all the UGC list journals, I think so, this is a peer-reviewed journal. Am I right, Abu?
Yeah, exactly. All journals are peer-reviewed. Peer is just, making it standard. Someone else like you or some like above you are reviewing your paper. That's it. So yeah.
Okay. Next question: how to choose a research title? Subject: political science.
It is a very difficult question. When you are actually design your problem, that tells you what should be your title.
আচ্ছা, একই রকম ভাবে আমি আরেকটু বলে দিই। একই রকম আরেকজন সাজেস্ট করেছে কিভাবে রিসার্চ প্রপোজাল লিখবো।
আচ্ছা। So that is the thing, that is your title should actually reflect that is what your manuscript contains. So although there is some features, that is your title should not be much longer, or it should not be the multi-sentences. It should be the single sentence better. Sometimes 2 sentences, but not more than that. And it should not contain the abbreviation. So your title should be like that. That is, it after reading your title, I can get idea that is okay, this type of work actually has been this experimental work, or this is actually political analysis, or like that. And next question, Kichilo. Oh, proposal. How to write the proposal? Okay. So the proposal actually different organization of the different format, but in general, you have to focus on the problem or the what problem you want to address. That actually you have to explain the background. And what are that is the lack of why this actually work is relevant in this current scenario, and what is the beneficial effect of this work to the human being or whatever. So this is actually a background. Then your perfect methodology, that is what methodology you actually want to follow, and this methodology should be clear. Not like the hazy, okay, if I look this one either, or this one, or like this note. It should be clear that reviewer should understand, okay, he or she has the infrastructure, he has the capability, he or she has the knowledge to perform or carry out the project. And then followed by the budget and all these things actually you have to incorporate. But you have to address, you have to convince the reviewer why your proposal is, or your project is relevant in the current scenario, and which respect it is relevant.
ওকে, নেক্সট কোশ্চেন আলী আজম মিদ্দা। ওনার বেশ কয়েকটা কোশ্চেন আছে, আমি দেখছি উনি লিড করে গেছেন। তবু আমি কোশ্চেনটা বলে দিচ্ছি ওনাকে। আমি অ্যাকচুয়ালি ভেবেছিলাম লাস্টে বলতে বলবো, ওনার অনেক কোশ্চেন আছে বলে। ঠিক আছে, আমি বলে দিচ্ছি। অ্যাজ আ রিসার্চার of language and literature, how much portion of information can be considered in case of plagiarism?
That already Abu already explained. That is more or less 10%, but maybe 10 to 15%. I think in all the cases, I think so. Am I right, Abu?
Yes, and since he's asking about paper publishing, it can be around 20 or so. The journal committee should decide.
Yeah, but should not be the more than 20 or 25% like that.
Yeah, no, it should not be. Because UGC has recently come up with this, policy that if it is 10%, then you can submit your PhD. If it is above 10%, then you have some punishment, like you redo it again. Or if it is more than 25 or 30 or something like that, you have you can lose your registration. The supervisor can lose his job or 2 increments and something like that. So as less as possible, it is around 10, 15 maximum.
Yeah.
So 10% including your bibliography and quotation?
No. Except bibliography.
Bibliography you don't need to, because that software will do. They will calculate. So they will exclude your bibliography.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What are the proper academic standard for publishing a journal?
What are the academic
same question.
Standard, academic standard?
Yes.
Anyone can publish the paper. Even you are in a high school or college, you can publish your paper. So there is no standard. If a lab worker or lab technician also can publish the paper. So that is, I don't think there is any standard or any position required to publish the paper.
Yeah, that's related to Gofurda's question also. Anyone can, write and publish, no issues. But thing is that if you are, writing, a science paper or standard, scientific things, then they possibly they look your lab or what kind of background work you have done. But for humanities and social science and other, things like that, anyone can write, no issues. Your argument, your structure, that is more important.
If you can give your affiliation as a home address, no problem. If infrastructure is not required, like lab or all these things.
ওকে, আর কারো কোনো কোশ্চেন আছে? একজন কোশ্চেন করেছে যে গোপাল দাস, সমাজ বিজ্ঞানের গবেষণা কি এপি স্টাইল ফলো করা যাবে? হ্যাঁ, সমাজ বিজ্ঞানের গবেষণায় এপি স্টাইল ফলো করা যায়।
ওকে,
অলরেডি বলে দেওয়া হয়েছে। আর কারো কোশ্চেন আছে কোনো?
এখানে আমি একটা জিনিস অ্যাড করতে চাই রিগার্ডিং দিস ফেক জার্নাল থিং। See, these fake journals, as Ataul was saying, they will write you emails every day. Some standard journals, they generally don't write you email. That's come and publish it. See, their email will be in colorful things, like black, white, green, everything, it will be there. Their journal name will be like Journal of Humanities, Social Science, Technology and Management. It will be like big thing. So they will club everything all together.
Another thing, Abu, there will be high impact factor. You'll see there.
Yes, obviously there will be 12 impact factor, 13 impact factor. So by looking at all these, you can see that yes, this is a fake journal.
Yes.
So they will charge also sometime. Initially they will not say, but once you proceed with your paper, they will say, okay, please submit 1,500. So like these are all techniques to select a fake journal, and better to be far from those.
Professor CM Hussain, it's over to you.
Okay. So, hello, am I audible?
Yes.
So, I think all participants got their answer. So, now talk is over, questions is over. Is there any quiz, Hassan?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
On particular topic, there will be a quiz.
হ্যাঁ 30 তারিখে আছে ওটা।
Okay. So now I would like to hand over the people who will declare the vote of thanks, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is a very relevant and useful topic, and this was very detailed description, detailed analysis. And I must appreciate that your PPT is a very standard, a very excellent presentation. And we came to know about research, about journal, about impact factor, and etc. So I am Mohammedul Hassan Dhabok on behalf of BASE. It's my privilege to deliver vote of thanks. So first of all, my heartfelt gratitude goes to today's speaker, Dr. Muhammad Ataul Islam, for this fascinating, very informative and enlightening lecture. We got many requests to organize a lecture on this topic, and finally for you, we are able to do it. So thank you so much, Dr. Islam. My sincere thanks goes to Dr. CM Hossain for his chairing today's session. BASE is really indeed honored to have both of you. So thank you so much, Dr. CM
Thank
Hossain.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank BASE President, Vice President, GS and other EC members for their encouragement and support. Last but not the least, I thank all our esteemed and lovely audience. So thank you very much. এখানে
Okay,
আমি
thank you so much.
শেষ করছি। থ্যাংক ইউ।
প্রিয় আতাউদ্দা,
হ্যাঁ,
ভালো লাগলো, দেখা হলো।